We're going to look at it. So foul there on Indiana, on Hull there. But then that is a technical.
That is a technical. Dead ball, contact technical.
It's a little surprising to see so many of these happen in one game because...
Oh, and I don't like the way Lexie Hull...
Kayla McBride this time around? Last time these two shared the court, McBride's elbow smashed Hull in the face, and the refs somehow penalized Hull.
Remember this play from the last time the Indiana Fever and Minnesota Lynx met? The entire league watched as Kayla McBride's elbow slammed into Lexie Hull's face, leaving her reeling. But the shock truly came when the refs, in a move that angered fans nationwide, somehow penalized Hull. It was an injustice etched in blood and controversy, and it set the stage for an unforgettable showdown. What happened when these two teams met again left the crowd absolutely stunned, revealing a personal vendetta that became the ultimate revenge.
Final score, Fever 83, Lynx 72. Indiana ends the regular season with an exclamation point. Fever have won 3 in a row as they enter the playoff.
The Indiana Fever's season was supposed to be a triumphant return, but it quickly spiraled into a nightmarish gauntlet of injuries that would cripple most teams. Player after player vanished from the roster. Caitlin Clark, the highly anticipated rookie, was sidelined by a groin injury. Sophie Cunningham was done for with an MCL tear. Sydney Colson tragically tore her ACL. Chloe BBY's knee refused to hold up, and Ari McDonald fractured her foot. This wasn't just a few minor setbacks. It was nearly half the rotation, a full starting lineup's worth of talent, suddenly stuck in street clothes. Any other franchise would have flatlined, accepting their fate as a lottery team. Yet, what unfolded next was a testament to a defiant spirit no one saw coming.
I know a lot of people will talk about Nafisa not playing, but I think they're really good with or without her. You know, they're just a really great basketball team. So I think it was a big win for us because they set the bar high standard-wise. We know what to expect when it comes to Minnesota Lynx, and so I think going into the playoffs, it was big for us because being able to know guarding Courtney Williams, knowing that her thing is a pull-up, knowing that now instead of not knowing that, it's big for us because we give ourselves a chance. And if they are the standard, we get to see where we are.
Yeah, one of the things that I've been impressed with these guys since even the offseason, really the ones that I was able to work out with in the offseason, is how hard they work. There's a work ethic and there's a work style. And to approach everything in the same way, to be so energetic, enthusiastic, and dedicated every day. And I felt that way in training camp too. There weren't any days where I had to bring that out of them. So I think it's the nature of the women that we brought into this organization to continue to just bust their butts and play hard.
Instead of folding under the weight of these devastating losses, something incredible shifted within the Fever. Every setback, every constant roster change, every controversial call from the referees, it all became fuel. Players who were meant to be role fillers transformed into nightly contributors. Hardship signings, picked up almost out of desperation, started putting up double-digit performances. Bench players, once afterthoughts, proudly claimed bigger minutes. The frustration and adversity didn't break them. It forged a new identity. The turning point was clear. The Fever stopped seeing the injuries as a death sentence and started treating them as a rallying cry, a defiant roar against impossible odds.
Kind of all the other things like offensive rebounding that she can do.
Knocked away, Boston comes up with a steal. Here is Mitchell veering through the paint and lays it in.
She's so quick, and especially when she gets out in the open floor, you'll see her coming down. The quick left to right crossover just gets by. I thought she was sprinting. I didn't think she was lumbering.
It was a lumber sprint.
Up for the big girl.
Mitchell like a blur. That's a...
Fever done with the MVP, okay? Bow, bow, bow! Hell yeah. You already know what it is. Dubs in the shake, you already know what it is. Woo! You already know what it is. Let's go to the playoffs with some momentum, baby.
This transformation set the stage for one of the most emotional wins of the season, the clash against the Minnesota Lynx. This wasn't just another game. It was a reckoning. Indiana wasn't simply finishing out the calendar. They were staring down a team that sat atop the standings, considered the WNBA's gold standard. This wasn't about pride. It was about survival, about proving they belonged in the playoff picture. And the Fever didn't blink. They came into the night already locked into the postseason, but with a chance to climb to the 6th seed, a move that, to casual fans, might seem minor, but for a rising team, meant more favorable matchups and a real chance to make noise at the grown-ups table. Just weeks prior, they'd dropped 4 of 5 games, their momentum gone, national chatter circling back to Clark's absence. Teams in that spot often collapse. Instead, Indiana switched gears, stringing together 3 straight grind-out wins, each a reflection of a redefined roster. The third of those was the Minnesota game, a monumental clash nobody thought Indiana could handle.
It'll be Alana Smith jumping it up against Aaliyah Boston. The ball is tipped, and it's time to hoop at Indy.
A 10-0 run to start this game for Indiana, and Minnesota wants a timeout.
Powers up top, tees it up, 3. It's good! Energy!
Kicks it out, Powers. You bet! Back-to-back threes from Ariel Powers.
The Fever double up the Lynx in the first quarter. It's Indiana 28, Minnesota 14.
The way they controlled that match.
Indiana is 4 for 4 from three-point range. Mitchell connects on a 3. Sims leaning jumper is good.
Kelsey driving left, puts it in off the backboard.
We'll do it for the first half. Indiana shoots 58% from the floor.
From the opening tip, the Fever looked like a completely different squad, executing their plan with chilling confidence. A dominant 10-0 run in the first quarter wasn't just a good start. It was a statement that they were dictating the pace. By halftime, they'd built a double-digit cushion and never once looked shaky about losing it. Minnesota desperately tried to find a rhythm, but cold shooting, managing only 2 made threes out of 20 attempts, combined with Indiana's suffocating defense, turned possessions into wasted trips. Part of the story was the unlikely hero stepping up. Odyssey Sims, a recent hardship signing, poured in 15 points, playing with a determination to prove she still belonged. Then there was Ariel Powers. With the Fever's lead momentarily threatened in the second half, she buried back-to-back threes that swung momentum firmly back to Indiana, delivering a gut punch that reminded the Lynx this night would not be theirs. Natasha Howard's presence on both ends, rebounding, switching, hitting clutch shots, covered all the gaps of a depleted roster, making Indiana's bench look like the deeper team. By the final buzzer, the Fever celebrated their 24th win against 20 losses, marking their first winning season since 2015. 9 years of false starts, now replaced by a cultural reset.
Mitchell, open 3. It's good. You can. Kelsey Mitchell is a hooper.
Passes Dantas left corner 3. Bullseye. The shot clock. Boston left block, banks it in.
But amidst the team's triumph, one individual moment of redemption stole the spotlight. It belonged to Lexie Hull and her highly anticipated rematch with Kayla McBride. Weeks earlier, Hull had been on the receiving end of McBride's elbow to the face. The blood, the confusion, and the unbelievable twist, refs hitting Hull with a technical instead of punishing McBride, had turned a tough night into an outrageous insult.
Fever dub with the MVP, okay? Bow, bow, bow! Hell yeah.
You already know what it is. Dubs in the chat, you already know what it is. Woo! You already know what it is. Let's go to the playoff with some momentum, baby.
Here's Mitchell. I think that's a 2. Doesn't go. And now it's McBride getting Hull. Yeah, that one might be a problem. Indiana just taking shots to the face.
Fans didn't just feel angry for her. They felt insulted on her behalf, seeing it as more evidence of Indiana's unfair treatment. So, when the Fever drew Minnesota again, all eyes locked on Hull. Every Indiana fan wanted to know how she'd answer. Would she shy away? Or would she flip the script? The demand for justice hung heavy in the air.
Tonight for Indiana, but then Bolton gives it right back, and Howard cashes in.
To perform like this, but they have 5 different players almost at all times who can bring the ball up the floor. Usually 4 or 5 were adept at making shots from deep. I mean, you just saw a big there creating her own look as well from Natasha Howard. Career high in terms of her field goal percentage, and you see her here, the little spin to the middle. That's a tough shot.
Her moment came in the second quarter. Hull found herself matched up on McBride at the top of the key. One quick dribble to her left, a hesitation that sent McBride lunging, completely off balance. Her legs tangled, and in an instant, the league's cameras captured what everyone in the arena recognized. Kayla McBride had just been dropped, her ankles taking the brunt of a devastating crossover. The crowd erupted, a primal roar of vindication. Within minutes, the clip exploded across social media. Indiana fans called it karma. Neutral fans called it hilarious. To Hull, it might have been just basketball, but to everyone watching, it was far bigger. That crossover wasn't just revenge for an elbow. It was justice written in motion. Hull had flipped the script, humiliating the same opponent who'd left her bloodied, a moment of pure, unadulterated payback that sent a clear message.
The Minnesota team is only accustomed to watching all season long. Now, one thing to know. Vegas currently is a 3, but if they win out, they will be the 6.
It came in the second quarter when Hull found herself matched up on McBride at the top of the key. One quick dribble to her left, a hesitation that sent McBride lunging. Her balance disappeared, her legs tangled, and the league's cameras captured what everyone in the arena instantly recognized. Kayla McBride had just been dropped and looked like her ankles took the brunt of it. The crowd roared, and within minutes, the clip exploded across social media. Indiana fans called it karma. Neutral fans...
Beyond that viral highlight, Hull's defensive presence was felt throughout the entire game. She stayed glued to Minnesota's backcourt, forcing contested looks, deflecting passes, and completely disrupting their rhythm. Stat sheets rarely capture this defensive grind. But anyone who watched could see she was making it impossible for the Lynx guards to breathe, turning possessions into empty trips and limiting the league's top team to one of their worst defensive outings of the year. This relentless effort was just as crucial as her show-stopping crossover. What truly makes Lexie Hull's story resonate is how perfectly it mirrors Indiana itself, written off, underestimated, and hit with calls that made no sense, yet somehow finding a way to shine when it mattered most. The Fever keep being cast as the underdog, and just like Hull, they don't crawl into the background. They rise when the pressure stacks against them, their highlight against McBride symbolizing that defiant spirit better than anything else could have.
Players in motion. Everyone who had been disgusted by that earlier technical foul now had a new clip to point to. Instead of being the victim, Hull flipped the script and humiliated the same opponent who'd left her bloodied.
One of those players who is messy, and she's on your team, you love her, and if she's on the other team, she's just annoying. Right? You just gets in and rip the ball out of Smith's hands and just end the effort.
Lexie Hull's electrifying crossover wasn't just a clip to laugh at. It summed up how Indiana fought through every injury, every bad whistle, and every doubt that piled up this season. That single play captured the raw grit that carried them to their first winning record in nearly a decade. Now, the Fever enter the playoffs with an undeniable momentum, fans buzzing, and the promise of Clark's return shaping an even brighter future. This isn't a fluke. It feels like the first real step in Indiana's climb back to undeniable relevance. This is where support matters most. Keep showing up. Keep fueling that energy, because what we just witnessed is just the beginning.